effectively and efficiently write your website code, you need a software we call a code editor. And Sublime Text is one, Atom, which was developed by GitHub, is one, brackets. All the names here you have are examples of code editors. Though you can write your code in a regular text editor, just like Notepad, one advantage of using a code editor is that the code editor has been programmed to understand the syntax, the language that you are using, and so it is able to automatically detect errors, finish up your code, that is autocomplete. It has such a feature. And then it also color codes whatever you write so that you can distinguish different properties from different values. Even some code editors provide you with the page preview feature that helps you pick or take a look at how your website is going to look whilst you are coding. And this is a feature that no text editor, no regular text editor like the Notepad can provide. So the images you see on your screen are examples of code editors you may use to write your code. So this is Visual Studio Code by Microsoft. That is the Notepad. You can write your website code in a Notepad, though you wouldn't have the added features these code editors can provide. That is Atom for you. This is Acode, which is available on Android. So if you are here in this course and you do not have access to a computer, you can search for this software on Android and you can use that to follow out this course. That is Sublime Text. And then this is CodePen. CodePen is also online based, and so you are able to code everything over the internet and share your files over the internet as well. This is a very nice display from Visual Studio Code. Very soon we'll be doing things of this sort. Don't be worried at all if right now these things are looking like puzzles. You are really going to decipher this very, very soon. So that is the interface of Visual Studio. A lot of programmers use the dark theme, but I don't know what you are going to opt for. But that is Visual Studio for you. So before you develop your website, you must have considered mentally how you would want your website to look. And to take it further, you should have even drawn how you would want the website to look on either a sheet of paper or using some form of application. There are some applications that you can use to replicate whatever mental picture of your website you have. And these apps include Sketch, Affinity Designer, Adobe XD, which has been discontinued. We also have a very popular one, which is Figma, and then UXPin. But mind you, this course is not focused on UI UX design. UI UX stands for User Interface, User Experience Design. UI UX designers are, would I say, people who take computer graphics and apply them to mobile apps and websites. So before you design your website, you must have spoken to a UI UX designer who has the knowledge in replicating whatever mental picture you have, so that you can follow that effectively. That actually helps reduce the time you would take trying out colors, trying out fonts to make your website great. If the website has been already drawn on the computer screen, you know how the buttons are supposed to look at, like, you know how the text have to be, you can easily follow that lay down principle so that you can finish up your website as soon as possible. Now, before we begin to get our hands dirty, there are certain tools and extensions we may need to install. So that is what we are going to do next. We are going to download and install the necessary tools we would need to practice in this course. So follow along with me as we do our downloading and installations. So the main tool that we are going to download here is Visual Studio Code, which is a very popular text editor or code editor that has been made by Microsoft. So to download Visual Studio Code, you head on to code.visualstudio.com/download and you select your operating system version and download Visual Studio Code. This is Visual Studio Code. That is the symbol or the icon for Visual Studio Code, and this is for Visual Studio. These two applications were made by Microsoft, but the one on the right is used for higher programming stuff like mobile app development. And since we are doing web development, we can stick to the Visual Studio Code. The Visual Studio is actually an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment, which means that it has more tools that are needed to develop complex systems. But the Visual Studio Code is a lightweight version of the Visual Studio Code. It's a lightweight version of the Visual Studio, which is actually a code editor. And so it helps you prettify your code. It helps you organize your code, helps you run your code, but does not have all that it takes to properly execute everything that you need.